Hello. In this video, I'm going to go over two things. First is the terms assignment that's due on Monday, January 24th. Second, I'm going to go over a few basics that I would have discussed on Friday and that we'll look at Monday at the start of our fundamentals review. Right now, you are in my music room, and back behind me here are posters for my two favorite movies, Singing in the Rain and Casablanca. So let's get started. So here in Blackboard, you will click on Assignments and Videos. Then you will click on the Terms and Transpositions folder. The one at the top is the term assignment. Click on that. And here you will have what looks like a test, but it's actually an assignment. Click Continue. And here is the assignment. It's broken down into 4 sections. The first is ordering the tempo markings from slowest to fastest. The second is to match the style markings to their closest English translation. And then down in the third section, you'll have dynamic and tempo alteration markings. And finally, we just have some terms. Some are instruments and some are just foreign terms that you're going to see in musical pieces. Once you've gone through the whole assignment and feel confident, you will go over here and you can either click Save All Answers or Save and Submit. This will be graded automatically, so if you click Save and Submit, you should be able to find out right away what your score is. The two things I'm going to stress as far as conducting fundamentals are 1, the use of your wrist, and 2, being comfortable with your body and being relaxed. Relaxation is very important when you conduct. There are times where you're going to be intense. However, you should not be tense when you conduct. But let's start with just a few basics. As far as body tension, one of the exercises we're going to do is going to be the swinging arms. Now, you can only see part of my body here, so I'll step back a little bit. But what that's going to entail, you can try this on your own, is hanging your arms at your side. Your wrists should be facing backward when you do this. And from your hips here, you're going to rotate your torso. As you do this, your arms should flap in a very natural way. What I don't want you to do, and we'll talk about this Monday, but what I don't want you to do is this, where you're swinging your arms like this. That's a lot of tension. You're holding your arms up. You want to allow your arms to flop, and the more you rotate, the higher they should go, and the more they should just hit against your body. And as you slow it down, your arms will start to just fall to your side until you stop. I want you all to try this on your own and to see how it feels. Look at yourself in the mirror. It might feel silly, but what this does is shows you what real relaxation is. Oftentimes people keep tension in their shoulders and sometimes even in their arms. And they'll do that when they conduct, where they'll tense up their arm. And you don't want that. It needs to be loose when you're conducting. And so the swinging arms is one thing I want you to try. Now, the other thing is going to be about the wrist. So I'm going to get a little bit closer. When you conduct, it's important that your wrist stay flexible. Now, that doesn't mean it's completely loose. We cannot have that. There has to be some tension to it, but a natural position of the wrist is slightly raised. This isn't necessarily a natural position. If we're to raise our hand up normally, there's a slight upward angle here to our wrist, and that's what you want. We'll talk about how that affects the baton later. And so right here is where you're going to create the ictus, or the beat. And it's going to be like playing the piano or bouncing a basketball. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, in order to get a feeling for the tension that you want, or the in this wrist, you're going to imagine a rubber band is tied to the floor, and there's a lot of tension on it with your fingers holding that rubber band. And you're going to lift it up, feel that tension, and let it go. Lift it up, feel the tension, let it go. So just try that, and you want to try that with both wrists. This is my right wrist, and I can also do it with my left. You're going to think, lift, and let it go. Lift. You want to feel that tension here. You're going to feel it all up your arm, and let it go. You lift, and let it go. When you let it go, all of this should relax. When you're lifting, you should feel tension from your forearm going up to your shoulder. That's not necessarily a great thing. That's not what you want to feel, but that's just to give you an idea of what tension is and what release is. And you want this feeling of release. And so now, once you've got that sort of mastered, which is not hard to do, this is lift, release, lift, release. Then you're going to start putting a bounce into it. So instead of letting the release go down like this, you're going to just start to bounce it. You're going to think like playing the piano. If there's a piano keyboard here and you were playing, your wrist can't go down. And that's what you're thinking. Or like bouncing a basketball. And that's what I want you to practice, just with your wrist. Is bounce, 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 bounce. Because and I'm going to show you this in the conducting patterns. When we use gravity to show our patterns, which we should, whenever the ictus comes down, there's going to be a little bounce up. And that's going to be natural for the players, because they're used to seeing things bounce. When you drop something, there's going to be a rebound when it strikes the ground or strikes whatever surface it strikes. So same thing here. You have this imaginary table, and you're going to think bounce, 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 boom. And then you can do it with the left hand too. Ding, boom, boom. And don't worry about like conducting position. Just pretend like you're bouncing a basketball, but you're going to lift it up a little bit. I don't want you like down here bouncing. The bounce is going to be up here, so there's a lot of air in that basketball. And so do it with both wrists. Just bounce, 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 bounce. And so those are the few things I want you to try, just to get this feeling of relaxation in the wrist. Because unlike last semester where Dr. Bernhard talked about conducting with the wrist to the side, I'm going to be talking about conducting with the wrist down, because it's typical for choral conductors to more conduct with the wrists to the side like this. But instrumental conductors, and I'll show you more in class, this is more of the basic position. Because when you put a baton in your hand, it centers the baton more. And again, this is something we'll discuss. It's better to do in person, so we'll do it that way. But I want you to practice having the wrist down. If you want to practice bouncing both together, you can, but they should be synchronized. That tap, 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 tap. Because what we're eventually going to do is put them into patterns. And so, because each pattern is not just going beat to beat, there's a strike and a lift before you go to the next beat. So if I'm going to do a 4/4, it's strike, 2, you hit 2, you go up, 3 goes up, 4 goes highest, 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 4. And the reason you want this lift off of each beat is because that's what makes it predictable for the players or the singers or whoever you're conducting. It's what makes it predictable is when there's lift to the beat. So we will go over these things on Monday, but this is just a little taste of the conducting fundamentals. So Monday we'll review this and we'll start to go into patterns. So if you have any questions, I am available tomorrow. Feel free to email me. My email is brian.shelton@tamucc.edu. I will be checking it frequently, and if you really want to talk to me, let me know over email, and we can set up a Zoom meeting. Remember that tomorrow your video review is due, and then Monday your term assignment's due. I'm sorry we couldn't be together today. Stay warm in these cold times, and I look forward to seeing you again on Monday.